like, share, subscribe, dislike, all the other good shit. Let's get on the Miz, yo. Big fan of Miz, man. I've been a big fan when Miz like started getting his push late 2009, 2010. He was United States champ, won the Money in the Bank, and cashed it on Randy. I remember that. You know what I'm saying? Then they was gearing him up for John Cena WrestleMania 27, which is one of the worst WrestleManias of all time. Definitely one of the worst WrestleManias of the 2010s. I'm only bringing up The Miz because The Miz had, not too long ago, a shoot promo. You know, everything's at work today because kayfabe is different. So I've been saying it. I'm not saying I'm the first, but I've been one of the only people I ever heard say it on the internet. The new kayfabe is playing with the internet. You know, they get on these interviews and they do the two-face shit. You feel me? They half themselves, then half the character. So Miz was playing in. You know, he was complaining about why I'm not basically invited to the John Cena retirement tour. You know, Miz and John Cena has history, but let's just keep it real, bro. Miz and John Cena does not have great history. They have decent history. 2010, back to 2010, or was that 2011? WrestleMania 27. We was only gearing up. We was only intrigued because The Rock was coming back. That's the only thing anybody remembers about that entire event besides Triple H and Undertaker. Undertaker still had his undefeated streak. I guess Randy Orton and CM Punk. But let's keep it real. Nobody cares about that show besides The Rock and Cena's feud starting, leading up to WrestleMania 28 the following year. Miz was a complete afterthought. The match was horrible. You remember anything for that match? Exactly. That definitely won't go in John Cena's greatest matches of all time. Remember the DVDs, you know, best of. If we had a best of Cena, that match is not going to be invited on a DVD. Who's voting for that? The Miz is basically why nobody's clamoring for Miz versus Cena. Because of this. Your history with Cena is not great. It's decent. What? Okay, WrestleMania, what was that? One of the 30s? Where him and Maurice went against Nikki Bella and Cena? Decent. Like, you don't have a rich history. AJ Styles, reason why? He splashed way harder than you against John Cena. They had classic matches. Big fucking difference, bro. The promos and the feuds were better too. Maybe the mic work from Miz is better than AJ. Of course, Miz is one of the most underrated mic workers in history. Definitely the modern era, last 20 years, there's not many people at all on the Miz's level when it comes to mic work. But the Miz does not have a rich history with John Cena, bro. That's why nobody's like, oh man, what about John Cena versus... No. Nobody's asked for that, bro. And AJ Styles, we know the match is going to be good because hell, Cena's heel run was shit. His retirement tour has been shit. Like, let's just keep it real. Mid at best if you want to be considerate. You want to be nice about it. Mid at best. This retirement tour is not what it should have been. This should have been epic. This should have been like, damn. Yo, you remember that? No. Nothing about this was great. We 5-6 dates left? And this is what we got. This is the result of the last year of John Cena. Thanks to Triple H, Triple no creative. Triple can't book to save his life. Literally, bro. This man is horrible. That's how my Florida bitch would say it. Horrible. Bro, come on now. But Miz, fuss with you, man. First, for sure, you are a first round ballot Hall of Famer once you put the boots up. Miz is somebody I would think, if you are a professional wrestler, you should aspire to be. Miz has a safe style. People can talk shit. That's why he shitted on Daniel Bryan, and he was right about Daniel Bryan. Miz can still put on a match right now with no problem. Hell, he's smarter than Daniel Bryan because unlike Daniel Bryan, The Miz waited. The Miz is 42 and still looks the same when he first came around, bro. It must be the adrenochrome. I don't know. That's a different story. But I'm just saying, he's now experimented with the in-ring. He's doing springboards and shit. That match with Gunther was one of the best matches I've ever seen Miz ever have. You get what I'm saying? So, to be fair, the match with John Cena now would be way better than any of their matches because Miz is definitely up the ante. But that just goes back to Daniel Bryan and anybody's like, oh, he has a safe, soft style. That's why he could do it another 10 years. That's why I said Miz for sure earned my respect over the years. If I'm a professional wrestler, I would want to be like The Miz. He's safe, he's professional, he's dependable. He could get anybody over. He's getting Carmelo Hayes over. Like he gets everybody over. Miz could lose 1,000 times and it don't mean shit. That's how good he is. But you're not good enough to go against Cena in his last year. Would I mind it? No. If it was on a Raw or SmackDown or something, main event, blast from the past type match, I wouldn't mind it. But, bro, nobody's asking for that. And it's a reason. Because when we look down at John Cena's greatest rivalries, you're not invited to the party. Your rivalries were decent at best. You don't have classic matches with Cena. Nobody cares you. Nobody even remembers you beat Cena at WrestleMania 27. We remember The Rock is the reason why you even beat him. But we remember The Rock. Nobody cares about everything else. Am I lying? No, not. You know I'm not lying. And I fuss with The Miz heavy, man. But it's a reason why it's the way it is. Okay? WrestleMania 27 was your first and last chance to become a main eventer. Tell me where I'm lying at. Has he became a main eventer since then? He was WWE champ about 10 years later, 2022? For a week. That don't make you a main eventer. You was a transitional champ to make Lashley better. That's all it was. It was for Lashley. It was just the little short-term heat. Shocking little heat. That's all it was. And Miz is just a upper mid-card guy. He's dependable. An upper mid-card guy like Jey Uso, not a main eventer. You could be a world champion. You could be a world champion a couple times. Maybe once, maybe twice as an upper mid-carder. Because you are reliable in that spot like The Miz. The Miz could be champ sometime next year. It really wouldn't be that shocking, but nobody would expect him to have a long, good run. It'd just be like, oh, okay, he's just champ just to get by. So, that's just what it is. Yet, Miz has all of the credentials to be a main eventer. He had them. But I think in 2010, 2011, they rushed him too fast. I think they should have given him another year. I think they should have given him a Royal Rumble. Instead of Alberto winning in 2011, Miz should have won the Royal Rumble. That probably would have made him more credible. But we got to think about this too. It's not the roster's fault. It was the booking. In 2011 and 2010, wrestling was horrendous in WWE. The only star was Cena. That's it. CM Punk didn't just come out just yet. But even when he did, it was just Punk, Cena. Then we had Ryback. You know the rest of the history, right? But it was very slim. Cena was the only guy. That's why they had to pivot to the past. They had to go get The Rock. Nobody on that roster at that current time was on his level. Miz, they tried to shoot him up there because he could talk. He had a decent look. He was good in the ring. But they rushed it, and it backfired. That simple. But, sorry, Miz. Not sorry. You are not worthy of the retirement tour party because you don't have a good history with John Cena, bro. AJ Styles does. He has 3 classic matches with John Cena. They were compared way before AJ Styles got to WWE. AJ Styles is the face of the TNA for years. People were comparing them for years. AJ Styles got a crazy reaction when he got there. It's a big difference, bro. AJ Styles is just better than The Miz. You got one or two things you're better at than AJ. Really is mic skills. That's really it. It ends there. Nothing else you're better at than AJ. AJ just has an untapped aura, an untapped charisma you can't teach. He didn't have to do what you had to do to get over. But y'all both over, but, you know, AJ Styles is AJ Styles. Sorry, this just happens. He's an MVP. That's just what it is. That's how it goes, man. So, what do y'all think of this? Is The Miz tripping? Does The Miz deserve, to be on the retirement tour? Because we only got a few days left. Who knows, right? But I don't think he does. Maybe a random night on Monday Night Raw or some shit, cool. But a pay-per-view feud, no. It's too late. And they ruined his retirement tour anyway, so it is what it is. What do y'all think of this? Like, share, subscribe, dislike. We are out.